special economic zone for industries. We have special education zone for disadvantaged regions. Again, there are 3 NITs to be formed, National Institutes for Persian and CRIET. An educational technology forum, National Educational Technology Forum, of course it is for teacher education. MHRD to be renamed as Ministry of Education. Then focus on literature and the scientific vocabulary of Indian languages, the language faculty, the research on languages, national institutes for promoting the classical languages and literature, Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation, awareness of India, the chamber school have artists in residence. Of course, you might have known. Now the engineering colleges are having a course like the local language research and subject compulsory technical education to have a course on Indian Constitution as like our environmental studies. We have Indian Constitution. Administration gender friendly education software. Already we have mentioned digitally equipping schools, teachers and students. Of course, this is the already we have mentioned digitally equipping one slide schools, teachers and students. Of course, these are all some of the major reforms in the school education. Again, just see, this is a very, very important point because it is much useful for us. Curriculum to integrate 21st century skills. Temper. So this is to be introduced in the curriculum of the school itself. Then what is our role as an engineer, as higher education institutions? What is our role? Of course, these are all the outcomes derived are expected from the NEP. The universalization of e-learning, foundational learning and numeracy skills with national mission by 2025. Of course, based on the same only, our state government has introduced the mission called as non-Mudalvan. 100% 2 crore out of school children, teachers to be prepared for assessment reforms by 2023, inclusive and equitable education system in 2030, board exam public and private schools. So these are all the basic derivations and outcomes of the national education policy. As a educationalist, as a teaching fraternity in technical institutions, what is our goal to do with this? So for this, we have a wonderful tool with us, which is called as our outcome-based education. Is it visible now? Is it visible now? Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
So the outline of this presentation is OBE and its needs, OBE versus technical education, OBE, its components, focus, parameters used and its process, taxonomy and outcomes, assessment, feedback, closing the loop, and continuous quality improvement. Outline of this presentation. Why we need OBE? Of course, we are in need of outline of T-shaped with dynamic and cross-sectional capabilities through revolutionizing the curriculum. Of course, now it is not so. So this slide expresses the comparison of OBE versus traditional education. So the bottom three boxes deals with the process in traditional education, and the top three boxes deals with the process in OBE. So the content in three boxes deals with the processing OBE. So the content in three boxes deals with the processing. Today's students, right? Today's students, the teaching process also slightly modified so that the teachers are focused on helping the students to develop new skills rather than teaching what is already available in the books. And the OBE gives the students' knowledge assessment is done on the levels to track their learning and skills. So instead of marks, we have levels. So this is the very great comparison between the OBE and traditional education. So this OBE is an education system based on outcomes. It mainly focuses on what knowledge or skill set students acquire following the completion of a session or a course. Of course, a comprehensive approach to articulate a curriculum that is focused fully on successful demonstration of learning by each learner or student. The activities in or outside the classrooms are designed in a manner that help the students to achieve their outcome. Of course, OBE reforms emphasize setting very clear standards for observable and measurable outcomes. So number one, in OBE, the focus is on what do we want the students to have or be able to do. And of course, it is a curriculum. It is nothing but curriculum. The second one, how can we best help the students achieve it? It is nothing but our pedagogy, of course, TLP, teaching learning process. Third one, how will we know whether the students have achieved it or not? Of course, it is called as assessment. And how do we close the loop for further improvement, which is called as CQI, continuous quality improvement. Of course, the outcome-based education facilitates a shift from traditional way of measuring the input and process, include the measuring the outcome as per the target sets. Again, it's not simply a number. So the OBE ensures that the graduates become lifelong learners, right? Of course, the OBE was innovated by a person called as Paddy in the year 1994. Of course, he outlined the following for his outcome-based approach on 5 topics. One is called as student-centered, clarity in focus, design down, deliver up. Very, very important. Design down. I will explain it again. Design down, deliver up. Then exceeding the expectations, expanding the opportunities. So this is the OBE outlined by Spady. Sorry. Of course, this OBE is the process-driven thing because there are 3 very important components. First one is called as OBCD, outcome-based curriculum design. Second one is called as OBTL, outcome-based teaching learning. Third one is called as outcome-based assessment, OBA. Just see the above diagram. So the green color indicates the program or course content to be taught through TLP strategies. And we have a lot of activities for students learning. After that, we have a assessment and feedback. Of course, it leads to students learning outcomes. So this is the process which is being involved in the implementation of OBE. So the first one, because in the 3-layer thing, OBCD, OBTL and OBA, the first one is OBCD, outcome-based curriculum design. So there are 3 hierarchies. One is input or inputs. process and approval. The input is vision and mission of the institution and department, graduate attributes as laid down by NBA, stakeholders, and professional bodies or societies. We can get inputs from these group, and in the process, we are framing the draft curriculum, we are framing the course objectives, we are framing the ILO, intended learning outcomes, defining the course outcomes, framing the draft syllabus, and mapping the CO, course outcomes, with the program outcomes. Approval, reviewing draft curriculum and syllabus in the Quality Improvement Committee, QIC, finalizing draft curriculum and syllabus in PAC, Program Assessment Committee, approval of curriculum and syllabus in the Board of Studies, passing approved copy of curriculum and syllabus in the academic council. Of course, if it is an affiliated college, this approval is done by the universities. Then under OBTL, there are again 9 stages. First one is getting willingness from the faculty for handling the course or subject. The subject allotment and confirmation by the head of the department. Preparing the lesson plan and COPO mapping. Implementing various teaching methodologies. Identifying the slow and fast learners through various assessment method and techniques. Feedbacks taken from the course committee meetings or class committee meetings. Changing the strategies based on the feedback if required. The assessment and attainment of each COs through various tools. Then the last step is submission of analysis to the program coordinator for fixing of the targets for measuring the outcomes. Of course, this is the sample curriculum design component. Of course, in the previous slide, we have very seriously say design down, deliver up. So what is design down? So this is what this is what our design down. So first start from your vision and mission of the institution or a program, you derive your program educational objective. So from PEO, derive PO. Then from PO, derive CO. And based on the CO, you frame the syllabus. But now what we are doing, we have some syllabus. For that syllabus, we are writing some COs. So we are doing a reverse approach, but which is not correct. So this is the design down approach. Of course, while defining designing the program outcomes, the graduate attributes as decided are given by the competent authorities like NBA or the accreditation authorities like NAC will take care. Just a minute, please hold on. Sorry, there was a very important call. So this is what our OBE design components. Of course, it is a outcome slide. How the outcome is being measured or it is being improved. So under Washington Accord, the OBE to be implemented in all the institutions, that Washington Accord only insists the Indian government to follow this outcome-based education. So as per that, the input and yes, the input from the stakeholders or constituents are given to outcomes. So we have seen 4 outcomes. One is called as vision mission. Second one is called as program education objectives, PEO. Third one is PO, program outcomes. Fourth one is course outcomes. So these outcomes are delivered through course planning and delivery, syllabus, teaching methods, learning activities, and assessment tool. It goes to course assessment. Doing all the course assessment leads to program assessment. All the program leads to institutional assessment. Of course, based on the assessment or from the output of the assessment, we give some suggestions or we get some points for continuous improvement. Again, we will give it to framing the curriculum or the POs or COs. So this is a cycle. So this is what the major changes or things to be addressed in implementing OBE. Of course, stated as POs and COs and are related with the vision, mission, PO statements and GA, graduate attributes as stated in the Washington Accord. So the OBE is having 5 Ds. So first, define the outcomes, curriculum design, everything. Design the curriculum. Deliver the instruction. Document the results. Determine the advancement or target for continuous improvement, we can say. So whenever you want to follow OBE, you should be very careful and thorough in all the 5 Ds: designing or defining outcomes, designing the curriculum, deliver the instruction, document and results, determine the advancements. Similarly, the parameters to measure are again the same thing. Graduate attributes GA, program educational objective PEO, program outcomes or program specific outcomes. Program outcomes normally called as PO, specific outcome normally called as PSOs. Of course, course outcome. Again, what for these objectives or outcome is for? The first one is for students, it is course learning outcome. For graduate, it is PLOs, program learning outcome. Of course, for alumni and employer, it is PEO, program educational objectives. Of course, CLO is nothing but CO, PLO is nothing but PO. So this vicious circle containing 6 parts, which very clearly defines the various Bloom's taxonomy things. The lowest level of the Bloom's is remembering, which is also called as the first level of learning or knowledge. Remembering, can the students recall or remember the information? The second level is understanding. Can the students explain ideas or concepts? Understanding, of course. Third one is applying. Can the student use information in a new way? Then fourth one, can the students distinguish between different parts of a machinery? are different parts of a computer like that. So it is analyzing. Fifth one is evaluating. Can the student justify a stand or decision? The sixth one, the top level is, can the student create a new product or pointer? So to satisfy all those 6 knowledge levels, there are some sample verbs which are all called as Bloom's verbs are being utilized for representing the 6 levels of learning. But for information, you can remember, how do you set the question paper? Because in our system, still we don't fully entered into the full OBE. So still there are some traditional system are to be followed. For example, I'm handling a course called as machine design. So in that, as per this Bloom's taxonomy and the methods, if I want to design a shaft, right, I'm asking you questions in defining the shaft. Incorrect, it should be under the 6th category, creating. It is also having a verb called as design. But actually, is it fully done by the students? Is it fully done by the stakeholders? No, definitely not. So already, for example, for designing a shaft, we have a standard formula, we have standard procedures, we have standard data. So use that only we are designing the shaft. It is not the actual design, right? So what in these times, when setting the question papers, the faculty members or the students are thinking that if a question is starting with the design, then it should be of K6 level, creating. But it is not so. It is not so. Right? So this is about the Bloom's taxonomy verbs to be followed for the 6 levels of learning. So these are all coming under Bloom's taxonomy verbs. So again, please remember K1 remembering, K2 understanding, K3 applying, K4 evaluating, K5 creating. Because some last week we had some experts for MBA visit, 5 programs we have undergone. So in that, one of the experts says, just putting the verb doesn't make the question really a creative question or evaluative question. So the inherent meaning of the question should be either in K1 or K2 or K3 or K4 or K5 or K6. So as per our system, it is not at all possible to give K5 or K6 to a question. So this is what the committee also insists. So faculty members say an appeal while setting question paper, don't put the knowledge level based on your technology, sorry, what is called Bloom's taxonomy. Why? Because last year or some 2 years back, the taxonomy verbs has been revised. So the second revision are also available on the internet. It was revised by various people, right? So you can follow any Bloom's taxonomy verbs, any revised Bloom's taxonomy verbs for assessment. Again, this OBE or this Bloom's taxonomy or knowledge level is not only for our courses. So generally, as a teaching fraternity, what we do. So I'm taking a course on thermodynamics, for example. So for thermodynamics, I am using this. All these knowledge levels are OBE. But are you doing the same kind of assessment for an NCC activity? Are you doing the same kind of activities for NSS or sports or culturals, whatever it may be? So all the activities involved in the process of getting 4-year degree should be outcome based. So it is actually it is the input from the committee member who came for a review. Again, so as we already pointed out, so what is the vision and mission of the institution? So vision is a picture for the future described in present tense. It shows where we want to go, what will be like when we get there. So these are all the very important things while deriving the institution. Mission, what an institution is, why the institution exists and its reason for being, what we are here to do together. Of course, the mission should be in line with the vision of the institution. Again, the vision and mission of the program should also be derived. It should be in line with the or correlation with the vision and mission of the institution. It is more focused on the theme of the department or the program and created based on the SWOT analysis. SWOT, I think you know, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Actually, now it was changed into SWOC. Instead of threats, they have changed into challenges, SWOC analysis. Of course, the program mission statement should have 3 components. The one is called as primary function, second one is purpose, third one is stakeholders. So you know what is meant by stakeholders, what is meant by primary function, like that. Then the next level is deriving program education objective, PEOs. So the PEO should have, or it should be consistent with the vision and mission of the department. Just see, we have vision and mission of the department. It should have a consistency with the college. Similarly, it should have a consistency. The PEO should have a consistency with the vision and mission of the department. Then the number of PEOs, there is no specific count. Nobody is telling this many number of PEOs you should have. So you can have the number of PEOs counts that can be manageable. It should involve the stakeholders and it should be specific and not too broad. It should have 5 components. It should have 5 components. The first one is called as preparation. The second one is called as core competence. The third one is called as breadth. The fourth one is called as professionalism. The fifth one is called as learning environment. The next one is program outcomes and program specific outcomes, POs and PSOs. Of course, in POs, it should have KSA, because this program outcomes, POs and program specific outcomes are to be attained at the end of the program. Then only if a student completed the degree or who passed out from the institution should attain all your targets, then only it is possible. So for that only the OBE system is seriously being adopted by all the HCIs. Then it should have 3 components. One is K, S, A. K means knowledge, S, skill, A, attitude. The POs are based on graduate attributes. It is all for the engineering departments or programs. Of course, program specific outcomes should be specific to the program. Minimum 2 and maximum is 4. Of course, graduate attributes given by MBA is knowledge, skill, attitude. The curriculum should have equal importance for all these GS. What are the skills required to be learnt or expected to be exhibited by the students? First one is knowledge, engineering knowledge, problem analysis, design and development of solutions, investigation on complex problems. Very important. Next, in the skill level, modern tool usages, individual and teamwork, communication, project management and finance. These skills are most important, even though some of the subjects are not in our syllabus. One civil professor last week, I used to discuss with civil professor, he is insisting, sir, how to use this skill for deriving the CO or P. For example, in the course called as finite element analysis, lot of additional tools like ANSYS, Abacus, there are a lot of tools available, so that when we are going to use FEA through software, it is under graduate attribute modern tool usage, right? So these course, similarly, what is the need of studying project management and finance by a computer science person? It is not in their syllabus, but it is not so. Then all the engineers should study about this project management and the finance capabilities. Then the third one is aptitude. So it is with respect to environment and sustainability, ethics, engineers in society, lifelong learning. The next step is course outcomes with respect to a course or subject. So course outcome is a measurable, observable and specific statement that very clearly indicates what a student should know and be able to do a result of learning. So it should have 4 very important parts. One is called as action verb, second one is subject content, third one is level of achievement. Of course, fourth one is condition of performance. So in short, we can have course outcomes: SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and type 4. Of course, we have the mapping of POs with PEOs. Of course, PO and the CO mapping are also there. So how to measure the outcomes, whatever it may be the thing, PO or CO or PSO. There are 2 different techniques. One is called as direct assessment, continuous assessment test, supplementary test, in-sum structure test, seminar, concept test, rubrics are all called as direct assessment. Again, indirect assessment, we are using lot of surveys like course exit survey, program exit survey, alumni survey, parent survey, employer survey, and so on. And your industrial training. So industrial training is not only for students, it is also nowadays required for faculty also. The in-plant training, industrial visit, of course, placement, and another one assessment tool is students' portfolio. Again, this is the action taken and closing the loop for continuous improvement. Assessment and attainment of CO or PO, PSO are to be made. For non-attainment of these outcomes, action to be taken for subsequent faculty handling the same courses to be identified. So this is the step one, steps to be followed for continuous improvement. Define results to be measured, identify the data required, review the existing assessment method, define additional methods and measures, implement and evaluate. The stakeholders are students, staff, faculty and non-teaching, parents, alumni, employers, experts from industry and academia. Of course, we are using or involving all the stakeholders in various activities like framing or reframing the vision mission of the institution, framing or reframing of vision and mission of the department or program, framing and reframing of PEOs, PSOs. Of course, PEOs are generally given by NBA or the accrediting body. The framing or reframing of curriculum or syllabus, the program assessment committee. This is the work consistency with the PDCA principle. PDCA already we know, plan, do, check, act. So it is for both for assessment as well as improvement. So first vision PO, CO, of course, PO or PLO, CO or CLO. And teaching, learning, syllabus, pedagogy, learning plus assessment. Of course, assessment, course assessment, program, university. And improvement, learning outcomes, learning activities, and learning assessment. So, okay, sir. These are all the things we are implementing. As a teacher, what are all the benefits? So, teaching will become more creative and innovative career. Nowadays, we are not able to get a good teachers. Teachers will no longer feel the pressure of having to be there, to be the source of all knowledge. So teacher should know everything. Normally the society or the persons are expecting that as a teacher, you should know everything. How it is possible? So if you implement OBE, it is not like that. And produce thinking and caring the students. Very important. Of course, we have an administrative system for implementation of OBE, course coordinator, module coordinator, program coordinator, program assessment committee, quality improvement committee, IQAC. So this is the system to be helpful for implementing OBE. Of course, this when you really implement the OBE, the outcome is nothing but the outcomes framed by the NEPs. Okay. So whatever may be the revision given by the committee or the government through NEP, if you implement this through OBE, it is possible, right? So with this ending note, I am completing my lecture. That's all about the presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
Participants, if you have any queries, you can ask now.
Because handling the session after lunch, even after some technical glitches, we started late. So I strongly believe I have not wasted your time. If you have any queries, I'm just sharing my email address here. If any doubts or anything required, you can just note down on ping.
Thank you, sir. It was very informative session, sir. It is our pleasure to have you in spite of your busy schedule. All the best, sir, for your future endeavors.
thank you, madam. There was a question, what is the role of a module coordinator? So one person, Ms. Tangave, raised the question, what is the role of module coordinator? For example, so a course coordinator means the individual faculty members who is handling the course. But the module coordinator means, for example, in mechanical engineering, there are three or four clusters. For example, design and production or management, thermal sciences. Like that, there are some clusters. So that cluster is called as modules. Because in mechanical engineering, for example, in first year they are studying a course called as engineering mechanics. That is the very important thing. And when they start studying a course called as strength of materials, the engineering mechanics is a prerequisite for that subject. So, like that, how to map the design courses as a cluster. So this has to be done by a subject expert, so who is being designated as module coordinator. Hope I cleared your doubt, Professor Tangwe. Anything more? Feedback, please. Oral feedback or any forms you are submitting, madam?
So they are requesting for the feedback links, sir.
Yes. Okay. Because it is most important, right? Certificate or generating certificate, right? So any questions? I think the last session will be there by the advisor of NAC, right, madam? So thank you very much, SRIET, for giving me this opportunity to share some of the views regarding the NEPs and what are all the reforms which are going to affect the higher education, because every engineering faculty member is thinking that OBE gives lot of works to the faculty member. It doesn't have any values, but it is a very good tool to easily follow what is the government or the experts trying to implement through NEP. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Madam, shall I leave, madam?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So now I request Professor Nivya to accuracy propose the vote of thanks. Good afternoon, Commander present here. It gives me immense pleasure to propose the vote of thanks. First, let me thank the Almighty for making this function a grand success. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our chairman, Thiruvi Narayan Swamisya, for providing all facilities to make this function a grand success. I thank in spite of their busy schedule. I express my sincere thanks to our principal, Dr. H. Ganesan sir, for his continuous support in all aspects for making this function a memorable one. I express my special thanks to Dr. J. Malvanan sir, head of the department EEE and IPC, that is this function in the right manner. It gives me great privilege to thank all our fellow participants for their active participation in this seminar throughout the sessions. I extend my sincere thanks to all our IQAC members for their contribution in the seminar in the right path. Thank you. The overall feedback of both the days will be posted within a minute. Kindly fill the form for certificate generation. Thank you.
Sir